Hello, everyone, and welcome to Intimate Convos with Adana. I'm so happy we're having something upbeat to talk about today, unlike the last video. It was such a sad topic, but thankfully, we're here today and we have something so interesting, something I enjoy talking about. And that's going to be the topic of sex. So today we're actually having sex conversations. Now, I've had this book for a few years, and yeah, the name says Sex 365. So, sex across 365 days, ideas for you and your partner to play with for 365 days. Now, the idea is not that you're going to have 365 positions to have sex in. It's basically showing you all the different ways you can change it up in the bedroom, the different ways you can do something new today, do something new tomorrow, dramatize, bond with your partner, just for that intimacy, to build that intimacy without racking your brain or overthinking it. As we know, we have busy lives as adults. If you're married and you have kids, you're working, you have kids, you have other aspects of your life to worry about. And so sometimes one of the things that gets to suffer is sex, because a lot of couples, even in relationships that are not marriages, can just relegate sex to the background if they've been dating for a while. But that's not supposed to be so. You can always get sex. You can have sex in the morning. If you're not a morning person, you can sneak it in the afternoon at each other's offices, or meet somewhere for lunch and have some sex for lunch. Or you can do it at night if you're not too tired. But like I said, some people can always work something out. So you can always work something out. If you want to have great sex, you have to make sure that you prioritize sex. Sex has to be something that you put as a priority. It has to come on the list of priorities. You don't just relegate it to the background and expect that you have great sex. It doesn't work like that. Okay, so today I'll be showing you some positions that are supposed to be great, that you can just use, positions you can explore, that in this book you can use them to start. For example, you can use them to start when you want to begin a session. It gives you an idea of what to do with your partner so that you're not just doing the same old thing every day. It sort of helps you do something new, do something different, and in the end, you have an explosive time, you bond better with your partner, and everybody's happy. So, as we know, there's something called 69, a sex position called 69. But in this case, we're going to be trying 69 for the feet. Did you know some people liked their feet to get licked or get sucked during sex? Like it's a turn on for them. Well, you can try. Now look at the position I was talking about, 69 for your feet. So you stay in the 69 position, your head to your partner's private area and your partner's to yours. But this time around, you're not going for the dick or the pussy, you're going for the feet. Yeah. So that's what 69 for the feet is supposed to be. This is a picture. So this is the picture. On 238, you have 69 for the feet. As you can see, the woman has the man's feet in her mouth, and her feet is towards his mouth. And if he wanted to do the same thing she's doing, he has to lean forward slightly or place a pillow beneath his head. And this is a good way to start. Of course, you have to make sure your feet is clean, properly washed and everything before you get started on this process, so that you don't turn each other off or you don't get bacteria in your mouth or added to the one already in there. And then the next one you could try is indulge in self-pleasure. Ooh, I think this is hot. So this is hot if you are people who usually masturbated on your own as single people, or every once in a while, and you're good with it or you know how to do it, or even if you don't know how to do it, you could always try something new. I think it's hot. You see how the man is standing, you can see the woman kneeling, she's pleasuring herself, he's pleasuring himself, and they're both watching each other. So that's a good way to start, build it up, try something new. and then take it from there to any other sex positions you want to try. And then another one you could try would be role play. I think a lot of people like role play. So, to keep it spicy, to keep it not boring, you could try the role play. Now, this role play says, be a flirty flight attendant. So you could go shopping for stuff like this, or you could even try something closer to home if you feel like, but you cannot be feeling that way. You need to actually put the energy and the effort into having great sex. So yeah, you could go shop for this. But in the meantime, you could also try the secretary, the sexy secretary, or the nurse. Do this role play. Talk to your partner, see what they like. If they don't know what they like, then you can start, and tentatively everyone can eventually find out what they like. In the end, it's just to have great sex and to have a fun time in the bedroom. I think we can start with this tree as something you can try to explore, as ways to start. It's not the sex positions itself, it's the things you can get started with. Oh, this is an idea. Let's do this today. Different from just coming together, kissing, touching each other, spreading your legs maybe in the missionary position, or turning the person over in the doggy position and things like that. This is a way to start because, as you know, with women, a lot of foreplay is expected for the woman to be able to receive you. Now, this would bring me to the other topic that I have, which is about sex positions that enhance deep penetration and then sex positions for clitoral stimulation. Now, as you know, it's amazing that you're having sex and then the man is thrusting inside of you and then your clitoris is getting stimulated. That is extra pleasure. Your G-spot is getting touched, your clitoris is getting touched. That's a lot of pleasure. And as a woman, you want all of that to be happening for you. So I'll tell you 2 positions at least that you can try or that you can even focus on, because now you know that if you do them this way, your clitoris, your G-spots, and the whole of your body would thank you. And then for deep penetration, there are positions too for deep penetration. But I think that before you start penetrating deeply, first of all, you have to ensure that your partner, which is the woman in this case, is properly aroused, properly stimulated to receive you, because if not, there's going to be a feeling of pain in the cervix. And you need the cervix to have moved back a little because she's fully well pleasured. This is the sex position called doggy. Now, first things to note is the slope of her back. She's properly bent. There's a way to bend for doggy. And I know a lot of times women may not want to bend that way because they feel like there's a lot of pain, but that's what I mean by telling the man before he starts to penetrate you deeply in a position like this that can get you deeply penetrated, is he has to make sure that you are properly walked up, stimulated, which is why those positions you start in the beginning where you're acting role play, touching each other and doing stuff like that, is supposed to get you in the mood. And when it does, your cervix moves farther in so that the penis isn't hitting it and making you feel pain, especially if you don't have infections that can cause you pain during sex, or it's nothing that is trauma related. Then proper stimulation should get you to the place where you don't feel any kind of pain. And for the man, when you want to start with doggy, you don't just go in with so much force or go in so deep in the beginning. You should begin with stroking, like with the tip, and then you go in slowly and you keep teasing and trying to stimulate her even in that time. And the wetter she gets, the more stimulator she gets, the better. And then eventually you can now make the strokes deeper and longer and faster and harder if you like. Well, the most important thing is to ensure that your partner has gotten to that place where all of this is going to be bringing pleasure and not pain. So for deep penetration, doggy. Ladies, this is how you're supposed to place your back. Not like this. Like this. Position for deeper penetration or for deep penetration would be reverse cowgirl. Now, reverse cowgirl is you sitting on the man's dick facing his leg area. Now, this is the reverse cowgirl as we know it, the standard reverse cowgirl. This gives you deep penetration. But the reverse cowgirl, as you should do it in this situation to get your G-spots to be touched and your clitoris to be stimulated too at the same time while the penetration is even deep, is for you to bend forward towards his feet. Now, like I said, this is the standard. This is the standard reverse cowgirl. But this is the cowgirl that's supposed to make the, 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 the stimulation better, supposed to make the penetration deeper. And also, it's amazing when you do reverse cowgirl. I think it's very fun for the men because look at your ass is in his face, and then you raise your ass, he can touch your ass, he can see your ass bounce on his dick, and then he can also watch how he's going in and out of you with all of that wet juice from you all over him. So I think it pleasures them a lot. I've experienced a couple of situations where all of that visual that they can see, all of that he can see in that time, plus all the work that you're putting, and plus the deep penetration can actually bring them to climax. So next thing we'll be talking about, next position we'll be talking about would be the scissors for clitoral stimulation. I don't know if you know of this position or if you've ever tried it, but if you haven't, it's a good position to try to stimulate the clitoris and to pleasurable partners actually. So the first things first is to get yourself in this position, make sure you're private to touching each other, and then when you start, the lady is supposed to grind while the man is thrusting. So while she's grinding, that pleasure from grinding is towards the man's shaft, and then the pleasure to him thrusting and her grinding is stimulating her clitoris, her G-spots, and everything all at once while he's thrusting. So it's like pleasure, 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 pleasure overload. And the next position for clitoral stimulation would have to be the cowgirl. So as you know, the cowgirl is you riding on top facing the man. If you lean forward closer to him, he can touch your boobs, pleasure for you. He can even stroke your clitoris while all of that riding is happening. Of course, you're riding as a cowgirl. So he can touch your clitoris with his finger as extended pleasure for you. In moving forward, you can also rub your clitoris against the shaft as you're riding. Or he's doing that for you. That way your clitoris is getting stimulated, you're riding, and you're riding at your pace. You now are in control. If you want to ride slowly, if that's what your body wants at the time, you're riding slowly. If you want to increase the tempo and make it faster, that's on you because you are in the driver's seat and you're leading this. And I think at some point, if he wants you to go faster, then he grabs your ass and then he starts to move you by himself. Or you are in control for the most part. And then also you get to have your boobs touched. Like I said in the beginning, it's a bonus point all the time. And at the end of the day, it's pleasure for you, and that's what we're about. Ways to pleasure yourself. You probably have been doing these positions before, but your partner's hands were probably just behind his head watching you do the work. This time he can put his hands to work. One on your clitoris, the other on your boobs. Bonus points. Other things that you can try, other positions you can try with the things you have at home, could be you in this position. This is a couple on a washing machine, as you can see, and the woman is getting some. You can do this in the mornings. One person gets the pleasure. If you're about pleasuring your partner, you wouldn't even feel any way about this. So you put her on the washing machine, give her head, turn it on. The vibrating helps to make it more intense. And you do this, the other partner can return the favor during lunch or when you come back from work. Especially, like I said, if you prioritize sex, you're thinking about how to please the person who has pleased you in the morning. So use the surfaces in your house other than your bed and probably a table that you use all the time. Do something different. See how you can turn it up and make it hotter. And for the ladies, you could also do this for him as a way to return the favor. And in giving head, you have to make it good. It's not just about your mouth. You should employ your hands in doing that. Your hands would be touching other places, going up and down the shaft, you may just be focusing on the tip of the penis with your tongue and all of that wetness and warmness of your mouth, and other parts of him that may want to be touched in that time. So multitasking will get you where you want to go to faster. And communication is also very important. I think talking to your partner and asking them what they like, what they want you to do to them in the moment is actually the best way to go. So that you're not doing something and you think you're doing something good because the person is moaning so much. They probably are moaning out of pain and not in pleasure. So you should ask questions and follow their lead and give them what they need at the time. So yeah, you can try all of this in your spare time and see how it works out for you. But if it's a quickie something, these are things you can do quickie. Lay her on the washing machine, multitask with your tongue and a finger in there, touching the clits, trying to get to the G spot, and you're good to go. So thank you guys for listening. I hope that by next week, by the next video, I hope that by the next video, I would share more positions for deeper penetration and clitoral stimulation, and maybe a few tips on how to give good fellatio. And thank you for watching. If you haven't followed us, please follow us on Instagram at Intimate Convos with Adana, and subscribe to this channel if you haven't, please. Thank you guys for watching. See you next time. Bye.